The following is a presentation of iRacing.com Motorsport Simulations on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
Good evening, everyone, from YouTube, Facebook Live, and iRacing Live, and welcome to LSRTV as we prepare for 80 laps in United Sim Racing B&C Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series for tonight's running of the B&C Lawn and Landscaping 200. Tonight in the booth, I myself, Austin Koopman, joined by Brandon Cruz Monsivais, and bringing all the great camera work, as always, is Cisco Scarmuzza for tonight's race. 15th race of the regular season of 20. It's getting ever close to the end of the season, as we noted last week. Only a few more races. We have today's Indianapolis race, which is a very famed racetrack that if you are a racer fan of any kind, you know this track and how famous it is for the races that have happened here, and because of its unique design. I want to welcome Brandon Cruz Monsivais into the booth tonight. And Brandon, this is such a popular, famous, and this track brings so many good memories in the real life and in the sim racing world. What brings it? What about this track really kind of brings the racing side to it for these drivers in the trucks? You know, we don't really see these trucks hardly come here, but in the sim racing world, we can do that. What's going to be really difficult for these guys here at this track?
Well, Austin, coming to this famed racetrack with this much history, a lot of these guys are going to be faced with something that they don't normally see at other tracks, and that's long straightaways and pretty flat corners. I got to make sure that these trucks enter the corners and exit just pretty much perfect. If you get too tight out of a corner, you're going to smack the wall, and if you don't exit the corner in the right line, you're going to lose positions. And if you mess up on an exit of a corner like 2 or 4, you're going to feel it all the way down the straightaway, and it's going to be really hard to make up positions and make up time if you lose it in this race.
Yeah, qualifying is going to be really important for these guys. As speaking of qualifying is happening right now, and a good amount of drivers have already put down time. 22 drivers of, it looks like the 38 drivers have made time. Now, whether all of them will continue to make times or to get a provisional for this race, every driver that is in today's race is locked in. So there's a very big window, and about 53 and a half seconds is where Aaron Bennett, he is leading in qualifying right now, all the way back to 22nd, where we have a 54.95. So there's a pretty big difference in the times here. We'll take a look also at the points here, getting a little bit closer for this points lead. Jamie Walker has 477 points. He's led for the better part of the season, but Justin Michael, with multiple wins this year, and has been putting on a spectacular showing the last few weeks. He's in second with Greg Mall, only 1 point behind him, and then just a few points behind Greg Mall is Seth Fowdy with 23 points behind the leader. And then the list as follows is Scott Simley, Gillenwater, Bennett, who is on the pole currently, Waters, Hawthorne, Terrell, who had a great week last week, Kleiber, Dunn, and then you have the cutoff line to Scott Formosa's, Christopher Hurlow, and Riley Thompson. Now that line between Dunn and Formosa, it's gotten a little wider. I think it was a little bit under 15 points last week, and it's only grown a little bit more. So if you're under that line, gotta have yourself a good race, and if you're above that line, you have to have a good race. Brandon, for these guys at the cutoff, we're gonna probably talk about it every week up until the cutoff actually happens, but just every single week you got to put your A game on.
Definitely. Seeing how we're at round 15 out of 20 of the regular season, this is when all the guys start figuring out, well, man, I got to start getting higher finishes. I got to start getting those points. Or if you're above the cutoff line at the moment, you're just like, well, I need to make sure that I don't fall off where I'm at in the points. I want to make sure I'm at the top 12 when we finish Richmond. That's pretty much all it is right now, just maintaining points and gaining anything that you may have lost in a couple bad races earlier in the season. Speaking of that, pretty much at this point in the season, you really can't afford to have a bad race. Like you were saying, a lot of these drivers are pretty close in points, even though there's a slight gap of 18 points between 12th and 3rd place between Dunn and Formosa. Pretty much any bad finish can either flip that in any direction.
Yeah, and as looks like qualifying is starting to wrap itself up. We got about 30 seconds, but definitely those guys at the bottom, looking from the outside in, they're going to try and make some big swings on pit stops. And at a track like this, a 2-tire, 0-tire, or splash and go, as most people would do for this kind of race, is going to be a common strategy, possibly coming down to it. These trucks have limited fuel, so they will not be able to make the big strides that they typically do. And these corners are really going to woe these trucks down, so they're definitely going to have to conserve their tires, fuel, and everything on those trucks. But it looks like qualifying has concluded, and in no better fashion would you want that BNC truck to get the pole for the series sponsor, also the sponsor of today's race, at BNC Lawn and Landscaping 200 car, and that number 3 of Aaron Bennett, he takes the pole. Jamie Walker, he is in second. He's going to start right there in that number 2 position. Number 6 of Tommy Ryan is going to start third. Bobby Terrell, he's going to he's going to start fourth. Finished first last week. Bobby Wetzel starts fifth. Seth Foudy, he's going to start in that number 6 position. Mark McCrary starts in that 4th row with P7. Trevor Harmon, he's going to start 8th. Justin Michael starts 9th. And Tristan Beats, he's going to start 10th.
Inside of the 6th row will be Dwayne Dunn. Outside will be Scott Simley. Starting 13th, Justin Kleber. Robert Glenwater will roll out 14th tonight. Scott Formosa, a guy that we were just talking about in the points, will start 15th. Shane Holter will be 16th. 17th will go to Jody Green. Jacob McLeod will start 18th. Chris Gibu will start 19th. And Nathan Davis will round out your top 20.
21st is Matt Mara, going to be getting a 54.4 right there. Lewis Robinette, 22nd. Jeff Ryan is the last car to take a time, and he starts 23rd. Randy Tesser, he's going to start 24th. Michael W. Water, he's going to start 24th. Greg Mall, 26th. Ricky Howell Jr., 27th. Michael Priester, he'll start 28th. Cody Gibson, he'll start 29th. And Keith Butt, he'll start 30th.
31st will be George Hendricks. Michael Warren will start 32nd. Michael Waite will start 33rd. Brian Curse will start 34th. Ralph Versi, I'm sorry, I have to work on that last name. Will start 37th or 36th. Robert Bonnet will start following him. Dwayne Phillips in 37th, and Steve Harrington will round out your field.
Almost 40 trucks will be here tonight, and that's a really big field. We've seen some really big fields here coming the last few weeks, and I think this is the biggest field that we have had, even bigger than Daytona 2 weeks ago. And there's a lot of popularity because there's a big chance to win. I think it has to do with the fame of this track, and really this series is starting to really get a little bit bustling here as the regular season is starting to wind down. We're going to take a look right now at your track facts. We are here at the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the 2.5 mile race, and no banking in the straightaways, but there's going to be 9 and 12 degree banking in the corners. So depending on which corner you're coming in 1 and 3, they're very different. You're going to see that from a top-down view that it's a square, but in those corners you're thinking nothing about that, and the fact that these corners are so different. There's a small difference of 3 degree banking between these corners, and that's really what makes this track so unique here, Brandon.
Like I was saying, it's such a different track compared to what all these guys are used to going to. Long straightaways, flat corners, and you need to be on par pretty much every lap, especially like you were saying with this big field. If you make a mistake, you can risk losing close to 6, 7, 8, all the way up to possibly 10 positions in a corner if you either enter it too wide or just exit too tight, and people are taking advantage of that.
Going into turn 3, we might as well talk about it as all these trucks go through it. Turn 3 is pretty much the corner that gets most of these drivers. They try and go way too hard into the corner, and then going into the turn 4, they can sometimes be able to get the handle back on it and then push through it. Turn 4 and turn 2 are going to be those really key corners for these drivers, as that's where you're going to get most of the speed, because you definitely have to make sure you're right behind the driver to get all of that boost from the air getting cut from them in front. As we go down the front straightaway, iRacing pace car has made its way down pit road, and the number 3 of Aaron Bennett will lead these guys to the green. It's a late one, and he's off. Green flag is in the air for the BNC Lawn and Landscaping 200 here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
A little bit of separation off that restart, but everyone's going to start getting single file for about the top 4 positions, as the leader's going to have about a 2-car length lead on Jamie Walker right now. And like I said, pretty much everyone's just going to try and ride in line. They're not going to really risk anything right now. As you can see, the field pretty much just getting single file with the 29 of Jeffrey Hammond. The first one
29,
into
Trevor
the wall,
Harmon, he's in the wall.
He's going to stay up there and try and not collect anyone else. It looks like most of the field's actually going to get by him. But like I was saying, you got to worry about getting tight, possibly hitting the wall, just like we saw there. Very unfortunate for the 29.
And we talked to him pre-race, and it's a shame. He was so excited for this race, and that 29 is definitely going to have to figure it out, because he started in that 8th position. He's way far back, and he's going to get passed by that 33, so he's going to be in 30th place. So not a good start, but if you're going to have an issue, you might as well try and have it early. Lap 1 is going to be as early as you can make it, but it's going to be a long climb back up the field from that.
Well, just like you were saying, it's an 80-lap race. If you're going to accidentally make a mistake, you better do it now versus 20 laps to go. As pretty much the leaders are the only guys that are actually going to start fighting right now. Jamie Walker trying to get a handle on the draft with Aaron Bennett leading right now. He's just going to ride in line, possibly make something happen in 3 and 4, but right now in this long straightaway, you really can't do anything right now. You're just riding in line until a corner and see if he's going to make a mistake and take advantage of that to try and pass him.
And the draft can really help you here. The truck draft package is very good from most of the drivers. That's what most of the drivers say, is that the draft is very good in these trucks, even at a place like this. And there's a little bit of 2-wide battle back in the pack. But that 17, like you said, he's not probably going to push the issue. It only would open the door for Tommy Ryan and Bobby Terrell to get closer to them. And going too wide at a track like this, no matter if you're on the bottom or the top, you are going to go much slower, because it's really that arc you're looking for into these corners, going from the top down to almost that rumble strip out of the corner, in the middle of the corners at the apex, and then right back up to the top. You can't do both of those if you're having a car on the other side, but we have a caution flag out. Going to be in turns number 2, the 88 of Robert Barber, that number 88 truck. He's got himself around, and I do believe there is 1 or 2 more trucks involved with that as well. Actually, it looks like he just whipped it right off of turn 1.
Also, 66 of Ralph Wilson also going to go around on the exit of 2 right there. Pretty much just checking up to the crash that was going on in front of him.
So early troubles for these drivers already. Unfortunate for that 80, he did not lock it down as much as he wanted to. That truck had all 4 wheels stopped, and he hit the outside wall hard. Doesn't look like the engine is busted. It looks like it's still going, but that is a good significant amount of damage on the 88 that I'm sure he's going to try and get it fixed as soon as possible. And so then, speaking about getting these trucks fixed, that 29 is probably going to do the same with that right side. But do you think we're going to see tires here, Brandon? It's only lap 3 when the caution came out, but do you think we'll see tires already?
I think at this point it would really be up to if you liked how your car was driving and if you were really pushing it really hard. Some guys probably in the back of the field were just going to try and ride it out and see how the car was going to feel. Say if you were in the front, like the leaders like Jamie Walker and those guys, they might come in. I don't see them going in, but if anyone would have the most tire wear, it would be those guys, since they were out there racing in front of the lead, or in front of the field right now.
Darned if you do, darned if you don't at this point in the race. If you come down pit road and everyone comes with you, it does kind of work. But if you're the leader and you stay out, or you go in and no one else comes with you, you're going to have a really hard time keeping that lead or getting back up there. But you're seeing some drivers look like they want to, and it looks like majority of the trucks are going to come down pit road. There looks like that Pennzoil truck, he's going to stay out, perhaps lead himself a lap, but we have a bunch of pit stops that are about to come. That's Bobby Wetzel, who did not come in.
Well, I guess they decided to take tires that they were racing hard, so they needed to come back down there and take tires. Like I was saying, I'm just going to watch the 2 leaders right now, Jamie Walker and Aaron Bennett, see what they take, see if they take 4 or 2. I think that'll determine what this field is going to feel like they need to do.
Yeah, this really sets the precedent. The 3, he gets really out of whack getting into his pit box, but somehow is able to get it in there. All right side tires are up on these trucks, and who's going to take 2? No one, hardly at all, is going to take 2, and all 4 tires are 3 laps. They took more tires on these trucks than they did laps, and Jamie Walker is going to beat Aaron Bennett off pit road. Now, the only thing about that is Aaron Bennett, if he starts 3rd, he'll be on the bottom.
Yeah, that was one thing you were looking at, and it wasn't that Aaron had a bad pit stop. I think it's just that he was the first actual pit stall at the end of pit road, so Jamie Walker actually had a little bit more minimum and a little bit more RPM by the time they got to the cone there. So I think that's one reason why he lost the lead there.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. It looks like Greg Mall also stayed out, so he was in around, well, he was way back in the pack, started 26, and he's in 2nd now. So he appears to be getting that truck. He looks like he's going to be starting 2nd on the grid unless him and the number 19 of Bobby Wetzel come down pit road. But it is really early in the game, and you can't try these things, so you'll be able to see how the truck really reacts to these kind of things. We say it time and time again that you, in the early stages of the race, you can try these things and see how much better or worse you are compared to everyone else when you take 2 or 4 tires. Only bad thing is if it's way bad and the truck doesn't handle nearly as good, then you're going to have some issues going down. But looks like the 12 car of Greg Mull was trying to lead a lap, but Bobby Wetzel takes that honor. So the 12 comes down pit road, and that'll settle out the field, being Wetzel, the 17 of Jamie Walker, and then Bennett is going to round up the top 3.
And that was pretty much what you were saying there. People just, or what you were saying earlier in the pre-race, is just people trying to gain points and get a lead lap now, and just basically trying to help their positions in the points right now. You got to take every chance you get, pretty much any chance you get. We don't know if this race is going to go green to the end or if we're going to have a caution-filled wreck fest, so this could be a safe time to actually stay out like Bobby did and lead a lap and try and get those valuable points that are going to be so important at the end of the regular season.
And while we have these trucks behind the pace car, I think it is a good time to give a shout out to BNC. They are sponsoring the series and the race tonight. So BNC Lawn and Landscaping Service LLC, based in Frankfort, Delaware. Check them out for all your landscaping needs, including turf care, mulching, snow removal, and more. Professional license and insured. Contact Aaron Bennett at BC Lawn and Landscaping at yahoo.com. for more information on their services. So they're definitely doing a big part to help out this series, sponsoring this race today. And Aaron Bennett in that number 3 car, he has those BNC colors, of course. Just said his name, of course. He is the person to talk to about BNC, so he's definitely helped out this series a bunch. So big shout out to that guy in the number 3 car, as he's in the 3rd position. So this is getting already to be another restart. What do you think is going to be playing out with this number 19 car and those no tire strategy here, Brandon?
Coming off about 3 laps of actual green flag race, and it could go either way. I don't think his tires are worn out enough where it'll kill him on the restart, but I think we'll see what those tires are going to do for him out of turn 2. Bobby's either going to have tires that are going to be able to keep up with Jamie and Aaron, or is either going to get past probably on the outside of turn 2. I think that's where we're going to see where those tires are going to come into place. And another thing that I want to try and look at this time is last time, as soon as the restart came out, pretty much everyone kind of fanned out, gave each other room. We got single file, getting ready for a long run. I want to see if that continues, or if some of the drivers are like, hey, some of the guys were taking it easy last time, maybe I can gain a couple positions on this restart. So that'll be definitely one thing to look at as we get to the back straightaway of this caution lap.
And Bobby Wetzel only has one other start in this season, so he's way back in 54th in points. Has no bid on those on the championship at all. He's not going to make up 300, 400 points between now and the end of the regular season, which is 4 races after this one. So this one is for him and a win or not win race. And so definitely got to put that in the memory bank for. This is why he's making that decision. He has no play in the bonus points, although he is taking some away from anybody who would like them. And if he keeps the lead, he'll continue to get more points. But 54th in points and 350-plus points between him and the cutoff line, not going to make it. But Bobby Wetzel, always a competitor, always wanting to win, and that's why he's here driving that Pennzoil truck here tonight.
Definitely the best way to gain points is to stay out and actually lead laps. So that's, like I said, I think Bobby's either going to find out what he has out of turn 2 this time by, as we're going to actually enter the front straightaway for our second restart of the race, coming on lap 7 of 8, or coming on to lap 8 of 80. It'll be a good restart. I can tell you that much. I don't think we'll see a wreck or anything, but it'll all depend on how the drivers want to fan out or whatnot as the iRacing pace car ducks down into the pit road and the green flag will wave. Bobby will get an amazing lead. He's going to have a full 2-car length lead as they come to the start-finish line to up the track, have the position, and have the lane that he wants to have, entering turns 1 and 2 as second place is side by side.
Look at that side-by-side action coming out of turn number 1. 17 on the outside, 3 on the inside. Neither truck is going to have the advantage, but both of them know that if they can get by one another, it's going to be an easier shot to get to Wetzel, but they are still side-by-side for that second position. And it looks like it's a dead heat for that position, but the 17 is going to barely edge out Aaron Bennett for that number 2 position, and we're about single file for the first 7 positions. First battle on track is going to be between the 99 and the 68, Beats and Simley. And look at that 99, almost getting to the outside safer barrier. That was very close for that number 9. Close call for Beats as he comes out of the corner. Another 2-wide battle outside of the top 10 is between Jacob McLeod, and they have a couple other drivers behind him. So keep looking at that. Skill and Water, he's in the championship hunt, trying to keep his nose in clean air. It goes side by side in turn 1.
Bobby Wetzel going to come back and lead that lap this time by, and the field didn't get as spread out as last time, but now Jamie Walker's looking on the inside. He's going to try and get a run. He's going to be a drag race down the back straightaway. Bobby's going to get a little loose off the corner, but it's looked like he's going to have the momentum, and he's going to stay half a car length in front of Jamie Walker. This will all depend on how they get into this corner. Jamie has the advantage on the inside. I don't think the 19 meant to give it to him there, but the momentum of the 17 on the bottom lane is going to give it to him, while Aaron's going to take advantage of the 19, sliding up the track barely as he gains the second position.
Aaron Bennett used the wake of the 17 of Jamie Walker to get through there and did not have to really move anywhere else. Knew he had to go directly to the bottom of the track. So there's the 17 to the lead, and there's another caution right there out of turns number 4. Looks like maybe the 33 of Keith Butt might be the issue. He's just coming up the speed right now. We'll have to get a replay on that. But yeah, it does appear to be the number 33. Looks like the truck just got loose right into turn 3. The second time we've seen a truck kind of just lose it on its own. It looks like he hit that rumble strip, and that's what sent him flying.
I don't know if it's specifically the rumble strip. He went down the back straightaway 3 wide, and he just got kind of forced to the bottom there, hit the rumble strip like you said, and then just got loose, hit the grass, and as soon as you hit the grass with these Goodyear Eagles, you're going to lose grip there, and that's basically what happened there. He did a good job at not really involving anyone else. Pretty big close call there. It kind of happened in the middle of the field, but not a whole lot of cars involved. Just one car spun around there, so I'd say that's pretty lucky for the field.
Yeah, I was looking at the 88's in car, and that was extremely close coming out of the corner. I think Keith Butt thought he was extremely clear, but definitely wasn't the case there. As I do believe, if they came down pit road once, Brandon, I'd believe that all of them would come down once again. But think about Bobby Wetzel. He gained a couple positions from a starting position because of that, and I would say maybe it's possible that he comes down pit road again. We'll just have to see here as they come down the front straightaway. Looks like we're getting a few of them showing and a few of them coming down. Wetzel's going to come down, but the 2 leaders are not, and they're the only 2 people. I see a couple peekers. Looks like Bowdy's going to step out. And they're going to a little more guys playing a little bit of strategy here as all these drivers come down pit road for service.
Total of 6 cars going to stay out here as the rest of the field's going to head down pit road. Like we saw last time, they took 4 tires. I don't see why they would take 2 this time, even though they just got tires on the last caution. No limitations on the set of tires they can use in this series, so you could take 4 tires as much time as you want here.
All the right sides are up on these trucks, and like you said and like you called it, It's exactly what it is. All these trucks taking both sides of tires, and some faster than others. Look at that 87. He gets a good pit stop right there. 94. Oh, look at that battle right behind Bobby Wetzel. That was Terrell and Michael. They both were fighting hard, and we saw them fight hard last week, and now they're fighting hard off pit road. It's like they're going to be able to single it out, and Bobby Wetzel, of course, is going to be able to get that position right out of pit road, and he's going to settle himself in that 7th position behind all those drivers that did not pit this time. Well, as we are under caution, we're going to take a quick short break here and give a shout out to all of our sponsors on the other side. We'll see you. This is LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
This is Imola. Once part of the Formula One World Championship calendar, this historical track, named after Enzo and Dino Ferrari, hails from north-central Italy and has been subject to numerous revisions since it was founded in 1953. From 1953 to 1972, the track went uninterrupted from Ravazza all the way to the infamous Tamburello corner, notorious for its bumpy surface and having a dangerously small amount of room between the track and the concrete wall, as the Santerno River runs directly behind it. From 1972 to 1974, 2 chicanes were added in an effort to slow drivers down: the Variante Bassa, lower chicane, and Variante Alta, higher chicane, situated at the top of the hill leading down to Ravazza, creating the hardest braking point on the track. In 1980, Imola made its debut in the Formula One Grand Prix, after organizers were engaged in a dispute with Monza. In 1981, Imola remained in the F1 circuit as the San Marino Grand Prix. The circuit was subject to constant safety concerns even after adding numerous chicanes. Tamburello Corner was especially dangerous, where a car crashed into the wall in 1987 and another in 1989. The tragic weekend of the 1994 San Marino Grand Prix shocked the motor racing world. Rubens Barrichello would survive a serious crash at Variante Bassa, but sadly, both Roland Ratzenberger and Ayrton Senna lost their lives that weekend. So in 1995, major revisions were made to the track layout. Tamburello Corner, previously taken flat out, was converted.
Welcome back to LSRTV's coverage of the B&C Lawn Landscaping 200 here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where we are under caution on lap 13, and we're about to go green as these trucks go into turns number 3. Both the cautions that we've had so far have been, looks like self-spinners, and I do believe that these trucks with the new fresh tires are going to be able to resolve those issues. as they're going to go to green flag on lap 14 here, Brandon.
Definitely pretty much the whole field right now on brand new sticker tires. Jamie Walker and Aaron Bennett pretty much the only variables in that, but they're only on tires that are about a lap old, so it should be about the same as sticker tires right now. We'll see what happens this time by. They didn't get as single file as the first time last restart, so we'll have to see what they do here as the iRacing pace car is going to make its way down to pit road. Jamie Walker is going to come it to a crawl. He's not going to go as fast as the other leader did, but this time he's going to go yet again about pretty much clear on the outside line. He's going to leave the inside with Seth Foudy as the inside is going to leave the rest of the field, and they're going to take over the position that Aaron Bennett had in second place.
Top three, Walker, Foudy, Bennett, right out of turn one, and these trucks are very close nose to tail, and they got a lot of too wide action behind them. You can see it all right there. And it looks like the top 5, 6 in a very wide truck. That's the 19 of Wetzel, who just got 4 tires. Very out of shape. 87 all the way down to the white line. A lot of these trucks, so we got a truck in the very outside of the wall still there. So we're going to have to take a look and see who that was. But looks like these trucks are keep going. That's why all these trucks went down to the white line. Was curious of why these trucks were going that way. But they're still too wide for the tops. For the top 7 guys, they're all single filed out. But behind them, look at that number 29 making a rebound. Had that real big issue earlier on in the race. Did some strategy on pit road. Was all the way back in the 30th, and it's actually improved his position from the start by 1. So give Trevor Harmon a big shout out right there. That's not easy to do, especially at a track like this. And he's looking to make another position right here, but the 48's not going to allow that. Here going to number 2.
Another driver gained a lot of positions on that restart was Justin Michael. He was making the inside work when all that chaos was happening in the field, made it 3 wide a couple times, worked the inside line, and he's going to try and get another position as they enter turn 3 down the back straightaway. He's going to try and pass Michael Warren in the 28 car. He's going to have the inside line, the preferred line. 87 is going to take that position as the 28 is going to get a little tight. He might scrape the safer barrier. Is he going to block the traffic? No, he's not. All the drivers are actually going to get by him safely. He's still scraping the wall a little bit, trying to give position. But that's just what we've been talking about, guys. You have to straddle that line between actually making the corner and getting a little tight there, and that's just another example of people just barely going over that line just a hair.
And you mentioned it. Look how many positions that 28 truck is losing. Over 10 positions from the last lap, and we got a little bit of action in front of him in the 93. He's turned around. More trucks. This is going to be a big wreck out of turn 1. Multiple trucks involved. Slow spinning turned into lots of spinning, and then these drivers had no chance to check up. So big carnage here in turn 1 as we round out lap 16. And looks like a little bit of action went into that corner, and a little bit of bumping went a little too wrong right there.
Man, that could have easily been a lot of things. Some guys just braking a little earlier, some guys pushing, and then pretty much anywhere back after about the first 2 seconds after that crash came out, the field was blocking the track. At least a dozen cars have damage from that. I don't know if anyone's actually out of the race. They were kind of relatively soft hits, but definitely a lot of trucks going to have damage in that one.
Yeah, it looks like the 29 got real hard in the 31 of Mark McCrary, who had an amazing save in that Chevrolet truck. And yeah, like you said, those 2 guys who initiated all that contact came out like a rose compared to some of these other guys. And it looks like the 99 was involved, and 39, 80s was involved as well. And basically anybody behind them that was in camera shot got a little bit of damage. But just like you said, I don't think there's many fatality trucks here. But there's going to be a lot of damage these guys are going to have to beat out because, like we said pre-race, this is a very momentum-based track, and with these cars damaged the way they are, and these trucks damaged the way they are aerodynamically, it's gonna hurt. They're not gonna be able to aerodynamically get through the push the air the way they need to, and it's gonna be a lot of resistance for these guys. So another quick yellow as these guys are just trying to find a way to get around one another here.
Well, as we were saying on the back straightaway before that incident, Justin Michael was taking advantages of guys just getting a little tight and working the inside line. I think that's what other guys had the idea of, trying to make the inside line work, and in that situation they just kind of ran out of room as pretty much the whole field. A couple fakers as they enter pit road, but a lot of guys going to go back down and get some 4 tires and get all that grip back that they pretty much lost in that corner.
Yeah, it looks like we lost our cone here on the entrance to pit road. So, well, looks like I think that was the 87 of Justin Michael. Didn't know which way to go. Was kind of going left and right, and then eventually did stay out. But yeah, lots of pit stops are coming now this time by, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of 4 tires. But this is the 3rd stop. I do believe we may see a few drivers and a few drivers going through their pit stall had to reverse, put that truck in reverse and see how that would go for them. But no 2 tire stops for any of these drivers. Maybe it looks like the 8 of Chris Gabu. He's going to be able, or the 5 of Chris Gabu, he's going to take 2 tires and see where that truck leads him, and he's got to get a lot of positions for that. He was not in the top 10 before that, but looks like right now he's going to make a bid at it with 2 tires.
The hammers are out down here on pit road. A lot of guys making damage repairs. Scott Formosa, Justin Kleber, Dwayne Dunn, just to name a few. A lot of them don't have front end damage, but man, a lot of those spoilers are a little bit pushed up, maybe about a couple inches, maybe 3 or 4, and what that's going to actually do is it's going to basically act as a parachute going down these long straightaways. Aerodynamics playing a major role at this track. That's going to hurt a lot of these guys. It really is.
And I actually did check the 5 trucks pit stop, and he did take 4. So I think just a really spectacular job on the pit crew for that number 5, as the service on that truck was extremely quick and got him out to get quite a few positions over some of these other guys. So sometimes getting in the pit box itself is in a clean manner makes that pit stop a little bit quicker on the iRacing service. So that's what it looked like to me. Just got extremely clean into that pit box, didn't slide them, just a nice stop, almost right smack dab in the middle, all 4 corners where they needed to be. It looks like we're going to have a repeat customer down pit road for some extra service, just like you said, to beat out those parachute fenders there on the truck, as that cannot be, these trucks cannot have that. At a momentum-based track like this, you cannot have any fenders flaring out, slowing these trucks down. And of course, a lot of these guys want more new tires so that they don't have any slipping in the corners, especially with some of those guys who spun out. They need new tires especially.
And I don't know if it's specifically looseness in these cars. It just seems like they're really loose on entry. Whenever the guys are starting to get on the brake, it might have a little bit too much rear brake bias to what these guys are used to. Then it kind of swings out on them, gets a little tight in the corners. So I think that's why a lot of these guys are taking tires. But even with all this stuff said and done, a familiar face up in the front, Jamie Walker in the number 17, a man who won at Rockingham a few weeks ago, is just staying out, collecting extra laps led, and basically in a position that he wants to be. He's back in control of this race, and he'll be controlling this restart.
I think it's really good that you start mentioning Jamie Walker, because he does lead the points over Justin Michael, who's not really in the top 5 picture. He's just outside it, and I mentioned how he destroyed the cone earlier. Doesn't get a penalty for that, but definitely gets a little smack on the wrist maybe from the cone officials. But jokes aside, Jamie Walker has definitely been losing that lead lately. So for that number 17 truck, I think being in the lead and definitely getting that truck where it's supposed to be in terms of points, and where he's been proven. He's been the most consistent driver, of course, being the points leader, getting the most, the highest average finish from these guys. He has a 9.7 as an average finish, which is the highest by more than one position than anybody else. So deservedly, he does deserve to be in that position, but has started to lose it lately. So being in the lead definitely going to help this 17 truck and the team out. Getting these laps led is going to give them the bonus points that they need, and then just staying out there. He's got a couple buffer cars between them and the cars with new tires. So 17 is going to be in a good position over all these other guys.
Yeah, well, these aren't just buffer cars. They're the cars that have been up there pretty much the whole race, as we're on lap 19 of 80 right now. Aaron Bennett and Seth Foudy joining Jamie Walker in the top 3. Gentlemen that we've seen up in the front pretty much the first 20 laps of this event. And I think we'll continue to see them up there, especially if we end up having all these cautions midfield and pretty much to the back. They'll just chill out up there until the end. But pretty much the same faces up in the top 10, top 5. Justin Michael's actually going to be 6th after making some amazing runs down the back straightaway and in the corners that last run. So pretty much same faces up there. We'll just have to see if they've learned anything and if they figured out how each other are going to drive as they enter turn 1 on this restart.
Yeah, it appears that race control is also telling the drivers just to get the nerves down a little bit. They're only on lap 20 to 80, and we've already had a few cautions to slow us down just a bit. But while we're slowed down, we also want to give a quick shout out to the folks at Joel Real Timing. Coverage of the United Sim Racing BNC Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series is brought to you by Joel Real Timing, the official timeware software of LSRTV. Check it out today at joel-real-timing.com. Definitely take a look at those guys. They help us out with a lot of things on the broadcast and behind the scenes deals, so definitely check them out for timings and scorings during your races in iRacing. Pace car is going to look down the pit road and he's going to duck down right now. Jamie Walker in control of this race start, and he's going right now. And the 3 car is in tandem with him, almost pushing him to that lead. 3 car wants a really good clear here, and the 22 is going to get just a little bit on the edge there. He's going to be able to cycle in third. That 3 car gets a position that we'll probably see happen almost every restart, but look at that A7! Justin Michael right there on the outside, trying to get another position or two, gets around the 13, trying to get around Foudy as well on the outside. Don't see that very often, but 87, he's trying to make his bid for that win, and got a truck around on the inside of turn 2. That's a 66 truck. No caution's going to be out for that, but another truck around.
As you were saying, Justin Michael, some guys are dragging parachutes. Looks like he has a rocket strapped to the back end of his machine, and this race is going to go to the inside of Seth Foudy, trying to make the inside line work, a place that he's gained a lot of positions. I don't think he'll get the momentum this time by, but they will be side-by-side drag racing down the French straightaway. Pretty much right now, Seth is thinking, how can I make the outside line work on the entry of this corner? And 87's basically just thinking, how can he get to the inside? And it happens right there. 22 is going to let him in. Justin Michael's going to gain the 3rd position as the leaders are slowly starting to pull away from the pack.
That was slightly scary. For as much as Seth Foudy got out of the gas, 13 was all in charge of getting into turn 1 really quick, and I think the 13 actually had to slow down just a little bit more than he wanted to getting into the corner. 22 definitely let that number 87 get by, and Justin Michael is going to be able to get quite a distance between him and the 22 of Foudy, but that's definitely something that you don't see. You see every once in a while, but not to that level of letting the guy in. So definitely a courteous action. Almost went bad for the guys behind him. As let's do behind him actually, Jody Green and Michael Waters. Jody Green, haven't talked about him a whole lot this season. Had a lot of bad luck. He's in the top 5 right now. I think a place he's wanted to be for a long time right now. So that 13 truck's doing a good job keeping himself up there. Good shout out for that driver. And Michael Waters, he's on the charge for him. Oh no, I gave him the jinx. He's in the wall on the outside. LSRTV jinx Jody Green. I'm so sorry. Right there, it's true. It's true. And 55 trucks now on the outside wall, and momentum is going to be killed right here.
Oh, and Jody Green's going to be used as a pick with Scott Simley and, oh man, Keith Butt going to be stuck behind him as they're going to enter turns 3 side by side, about 3 wide right here. This is some sketchy stuff right here, entering such a flat corner like that in a pack. I mean, these trucks are pretty much door to door and bumper to bumper right now, and something that we haven't seen so far. A lot of these guys were single file earlier. Now they're actually racing. They're using pretty much 2 lanes and a 1-lane racetrack right now.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to go and give my apologies to the 13 crew after the race. But all jokes aside, the guys in front of them, there's 2 by 2 right in front of them for 6th and 8th position. Looked like the number 6 of Tommy Ryan trying to make that outside line work. Doesn't typically, unless you can be side by side with him outside of the corner. He's got that with Scott Simley on his inside. Scott Simley had the position last time around, so he's trying to make the charge here, and they got Keith Butt right in tail behind them. Keith Butt's going to make a huge charge in the inside line, and it's definitely going to be where it's at. But Tommy Ryan's not quite giving up, as they do have a slow truck in front of him. It's going to stall him out. That's the 55. It looks like he has a slight bit of damage from contact earlier with the 13, so going to slow up that top line, and 6 of Tommy Ryan thinking, I had all that momentum, and now it's gone, and he's going to, oh wow, look at the push away from the outside line, and the 6 car made a very daring move to get right in front of the number 5 of Chris Gibu. That was close.
Are you sure we're at Indianapolis? Because these guys are driving like they're on a super speedway. Yes, Tommy Rain's going to get a little bit loose exiting one there, but like you were saying, making moves happening that pretty much in a pack like that. One thing that the leaders were doing earlier was moving to the inside on long straightaways, trying to break the draft. That's one thing that these guys can't do. Tommy Rain basically creating a gap with the big old truck that he has for Michael Waters, and just pretty much everyone right now. Racing in a pack, you break so much draft, you're able to pretty much enter all these corners in a pack, and that's one thing you don't want to do here.
Yeah, and as the green flag runs start to get going, and this is the longest green flag run we've really had. These guys are starting to figure out what the trucks start to do and what they're pushing hard at the beginning is going to really be beneficial. I think for the 55, he's now got damage and really did run those tires on that truck pretty hard. That 33 or the 50. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, it looks like he's got a truck on the inside, and it's going to be able to get by him. And that truck is really dropping quite quickly. And for the damage, the tires, you really have to figure out how to preserve the 11. That was when you say outside of him was Shane Hawther. I do apologize, but you're seeing trucks starting to peter out almost a little bit towards the middle groove. And those guys up front, they're just kind of going. They're doing their own thing. Top four have about a 1.5 second lead between themselves and Bobby Terrell, last week's winner. And then they're kind of bunched up for this outside top 10 group.
Yeah, pretty much like you were saying, they're starting to get single file. I mean, the only people that are double file right now, or actually single file right now, is Greg Mall and Michael Waters. They're the only guys pretty much side by side. Everyone else creating the snake of breaking the draft here is they're just pretty much getting to the run. As you said, they're the longest. They're in the longest run that we've seen tonight. So really what they're trying to do now is save those tires that they were racing so hard and burning the rubber off. They got to try and save them and make him last for this long run. As yet again, Jamie Walker going to the inside of the back straightaway, trying to break the draft that Justin Michael has on him. A common thing that you will start to see pretty much throughout this long run here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, and seeing the battle between Aaron Bennett and Seth Bowdy right behind the two you were just mentioning, it was getting pretty close there. Bowdy was really catching Bennett there for third, and it looks like Bowdy did get loose. It looks like the three just got a heck of a run off the corner, and the only bad thing about that is that the 22 still gets the tail as draft and continue to keep catching him every lap, and it's kind of a nuisance if you're the guy in front and you can't get a draft off somebody, but the guy behind you, he may not be better than you in the corners, or he might be the same as you in the corners, and he's able to get up to you. So being that lead driver is going to really be quite a pain. But look at the 6th truck of Tommy Ryan. He's got a couple of trucks around him. He's trying to go for position. Look at the 33 of Keith Butt. He's going to go on the inside of him down the back straightaway. He's going to have the 5 and tail as well. 33 of Keith Butt. He's losing a couple positions now. If he can't keep the outside going, Tommy Ryan's going to get a position right at turn 3, and the 5 might as well.
Couple guys just leapfrogging each other, taking advantage of people breaking the draft. As Keith Butt's going to try and make the inside sideways. Can he save it? He's going to slide up, make contact with the safer barrier. He's going to stay up against the wall, trying to give room to the guys on the inside. Very smart move. That could have been a terrible, terrible thing to happen for the field. I mean, it's terrible for Keith Butt, but it could have been way bigger than that. He may have hit the wall there, but that was an amazing save. He was turned almost 90 degrees sideways, and he was able to keep it up against the wall, not taking anyone out. That was really close.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of right side damage for that 33 truck, but could have been a lot worse, just like you said. But we can't really call it a save, but he definitely did a lot better than what you would see from a lot of other drivers as he actually gets in the outside wall once more on the back straightaway. Maybe that toe is out a little bit on the 33 truck. Just going to have to monitor that situation, but that 33 is going to have a lot of issues coming here. Going back to the lead, looks like Justin Michael is starting to really catch Jamie Walker. Looks like the 22 at Seth Bowdy is coming down pit road for possibly scheduled pit stops, but I can't be for certain of that.
I would have to guess that it is scheduled. I didn't see Seth make contact with anyone or the wall, so I can only assume that this is part of his strategy, possibly short pit, maybe expecting more crashes later in the race, taking advantage of pitting early and gaining position, especially with Justin Michael flying by and taking the lead after, give or take 9-10 laps of racing.
Yeah, for him it's been a little bit longer because he didn't come down pit road that time, but and that's going to give him a little bit less fuel than everyone else, of course. But with the limited fuel, it's still just not, I would say not in the window, but perhaps he's going to try and short pit, try and get the advantage of tires, and then splice them up into equal portions later. And that looks like the number 3 is going to come down as well. And the 17 of Jamie Walker is also going to as well, and that gives the lead to Justin Michael. He's been leading a lot lately, and he'll lead again here at Indianapolis.
Well, due to that, I can only expect that Seth, if everyone starts pitting with the green flag pit stops here, I can only expect that Seth will inherit the lead here. But Jamie Walker and Aaron Bennett, like you said, down pit road, I expect them to take 4 tires. That's what Seth did, and that's what I would expect to do. As the 99 of Tristan Bates actually gets really sideways in one, but other than that, pretty much. Oh, we actually got a spinner down the back straightaway. That is the number 19 of Bobby Rutzel. Down on the apron, right past the service road, down the back straight. He was actually going to back up onto the track and bring out a caution. On the exit of 2 right there, 19 going to bring out a caution. Pretty much just losing it on its own. I'll have to go back and check that out, but that's pretty much all it looked like. Oh, he got a little tight. He went up against the wall, made contact with the outside retaining barrier. No, actually, he didn't. Just barely almost missed it, threw it to the left, and it just hooked and brought him to the inside safer barrier.
Yeah, that was an odd one, and it was not going to be a caution until he came up onto the actual racing surface above the white line, and I believe he did not realize how far he was backing up, and did create that caution to become out. So caution out for the number 19 of Bobby Wetzel, but he does have a lot of right front damage, so this caution's going to help him, but in the long run, he's got a lot of damage. The thing that's going to really stink is those drivers he came down for pit road. They're going to have their full service. They did not go lap down, but definitely going to be hard for these guys to really catch up because they're going to be down on tires, and everyone else is probably going to come into pit road. So they might be the leaders, but they're going to be down on tires.
That'll only be something we can see once these pit stops cycle through. That's like worst case scenario for strategy. Pretty much a caution coming out in the midst of some people pitting, some not. You heard the concern in my voice when I saw him come back up the track. I thought he, like you said, I don't know if he was sure where his truck was when he was backing up. I thought it was going to actually end up being a way bigger wreck or something like that. But as the field's actually going to come to pit road this time by, it looked like Justin Michael obviously going to come down. He didn't pit during the green that time by, so he's going to bring the field down, and pretty much everyone behind him going to follow.
Yeah, looking at this snake of trucks come down pit road, looks like the 12 of Greg Mall is going to stay out and get some bonus points, as he definitely needs him with where he's at in the points, and some of these drivers don't need him as much, and they need tires, and they want to win. So Justin Michael, one of those, and looks like a lot of trucks behind him also know that the importance of tires is of necessity. Look at the 87 into the inside wall of his pit box. Would have hurt a couple of his crew members if they were actually there, but thank goodness the virtual crew members are just fine, and it's going to be a hard left side transition. Actually, he won't even take left sides. That would have been a difficult left side transition anyways for that crew, but a little bit of left side damage on that truck, and looks like he's going to come out, the lead driver, off of pit road, but going to have to take a closer look to see how much damage he has.
It doesn't look too bad, Austin. I think he just had to throw an audible there, take the 2 right side tires. With sliding into his pit stop, I think he realized that his pit stop was pretty much botched at that point, so he had to try and save whatever he could. So I think he either took 2 tires just to make sure he was the first one out, or he may come out, see how the truck feels. I don't see him going side to side, so nothing's wrong there, but he might actually come back down this time by, maybe take the other side, make any repair damage. But that was what I can only call a anomaly in a pit stop that we've seen from Justin Michael a lot of times.
Yeah, you do multiple pit stops throughout the year. They've probably done close to almost 100 pit stops up to this point in the season. Say you made at least 3 pit stops a race, and they've done a little bit now coming up to 15 races once this one's finished out. You'd a couple more for other races, so definitely a lot of pit stops for these guys, a lot of repetitions, and sometimes you think it's going to be the same pit stop over and over again, but it does not become that. And just like you said, 87 is definitely going to come down pit road once more, and eventually a few trucks are going to come down that did not the first time. Perhaps they're thinking of fuel to maybe widen their capacity to get that one extra lap for some of these guys. So 87 coming down, 93, and 19 of Wetzel's also coming down. Looks like a little bit of bumper cars on pit road, as well as the 87 wants the 93 to move a little bit faster, and looks like a lot of trucks are coming down pit road, including the 39.
Way smoother entry to pit road that time for Justin Michael, but as we actually move back up to the field, your leader will be Scott Simley in the number 68 machine, pretty much leading that lap, getting the extra bonus points as we reach lap 34 of this race, 80 laps in. We're getting close to halfway. What do you think the mentality is for these guys, Austin? We've seen cautions that came out in the first 20 laps, one after another, and then this is the first time that we've seen them go about, give or take, 15 laps on a green flag run. So is this a toss-up for the drivers for thinking that they're going to actually go green flag all the way, or do they expect to see cautions from here on out?
This is a difficult one because you've had both in this race already. You could say statistically, as the cautions have gone, they've gotten longer runs, except for one short run that they had. So you could say that they may be going green for quite a while. But if you think that way and you preserve your tires and you let a few drivers go that really want to go, then and the caution does come out, you've lost a few positions that you really could have contested for. So it's as one of the lead drivers, it's not easy in this situation, especially if you're Scott Simley, because this is the first time you've been to the lead, and you're able to really set the pace for the field. You can really go hard and try and make everyone try and contest against you for the lead, or you can maybe sit back and force everyone behind you to kind of feel the same way. As a leader, you really break the pace for the entire field on the start and the first few corners on how everyone's going to drive. And if someone really wants to take that, and their mentality is that maybe we might have another quick caution flag, they'll definitely take that and then put that precedent for themselves. But for now, I do believe these guys are just going to have to play middle ball and try and play both games as it goes. Pace car now has the lights off, and they're going to go double file down turn 1.
As you were saying, they're pretty much just thinking of what strategy they're going to be using at this restart. A driver that we noted pitting first in those green flag pit stalls, Seth Foudy's actually going to restart fourth. Didn't inherit the lead like he pretty much wanted to, but he's up in the front. We see some new faces mixed with some old faces up here. So this is a mix of people that have 2 tires, old tires, and 4 tires in the back. Pretty much the whole field is scrambled up from what we've been seeing. So this will be, I don't want to say hectic restart, but I think this will be a way more aggressive restart from all these drivers compared to what we've been seeing.
Yeah, and to give you a rundown for that top 10, it's Scott Simley leading the way. He's going to lead a few laps, and he's going to lead these guys to the next restart. Bobby Terrell, this is the highest he's been all day. He's in that second position. Chris Cabew, top highest he's been all day in third. Seth Foudy's fourth. Mark McCrary, he's fifth. Jimmy Walker, this is the farthest back he's been, if you don't count the time it took to get back to 6th place. Aaron Bennett, same for him. He's in 7th. Robert Gillenwater has kind of been sitting inside the top 10 all day. He's in 8th. Michael Waite, 34th to 9th. Really big mover right now. And then you have Shane Hawthorne right behind him. He's in that 10th position. He started in the 16th position. So kind of some up and downs. And a lot of these drivers in the top 10 have kind of been around, but they haven't been this far forward. So they're going to have a major role in kind of deciding their fate. These guys on the outside, they're going to try and figure out how to get to the bottom as soon as they can. We'll just have to see how they do it and when they do it. Pace car and the leader, they're pretty spread apart from the last couple of starts, and pace car's down and away. And Scott Simley, he's going to get these guys started. Inside line does not get a good jump behind him. Number 5 of Chris Cabew does not get going, and the 22 of Seth Foudy is going to see if he can get clear. He's going to from 4th to 3rd, and you don't really hear that very often at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And the top 3 are on their way, single file, and then they got 2 wide behind them for the top 4, the 4th position.
Seth Foudy pretty much pushed Bobby Terrell up in the 2nd and made sure that they left the field behind him, as Jamie Walker is going to be in 4th, coming back through the field, and then pretty much going to be single file all the way back. Man, pretty much the whole field is single file all the way back to 23rd position right now. So not as hectic as I thought they would have been, but a lot closer in the snake right now, as we see Mark McCary looking on the inside of a couple cars trying to make it happen. Robert Glenwater is going to follow him in that, trying to make the inside line work. But yet again, back to single file racing, a little bit closer, but just single file versus double file we've been seeing. That
30th one just made the 5 look like a sitting duck right there. Just whizzed right by it. right past him, and 31. He looks like a strong truck right now for as he passed a few of those guys. And looking in front of him, look at the 17 on the inside of the 22 of Seth Foudy. Seth Foudy actually looked like he's looking on the outside trying to pass Walker right there, but they're doing battle side by side down the back straightaway, and it looks like they're the only battle right now, but it's a tight battle and a close one right there. They're going to lose the leaders if they're not careful with doing this. And then got to think about Bobby Terrell. He's really close to Scott Simley, so 2 battles here in the top 4, 1 for third, 1 for the lead.
Definitely, that's what we want to watch right now. I think we'll easily have 4 cars battling for the lead maybe next time by out at turn 4, but Seth Foudy pretty much is going to follow Jamie Walker. They're, like you said, they don't want to lose the leaders right now, so there's really no point in them battling side by side and messing up their entries. A place that'll pretty much kill you on these short straightaways if you mess up, as they gain pretty much any position that they lost on the leaders down the front straightaway that time by as they enter turn 2. Jamie Walker, a man on a mission, a man making moves, trying to get up there. As the 68 of Scott Simley going to get a little loose, little sideways there in the corner, as Bobby Terrell is going to make it work on the inside line. Jamie Walker gaining draft off of them both as they enter 3 and 4. Bobby Terrell taking advantage on the inside line. Is he going to inherit the lead? He will. He's going to clear it. Jamie Walker is going to follow him on the inside line.
And look, the 17 right behind in tow, trying to make the inside line work on the 68. And the 68 may lose 3 positions before this one's over. And I think he will, going to turn 1. 68's going to lose the lead to the 94 of Bobby Terrell, last week's winner. If you're a thinking person, you're going to think that 94 is in a very good position, just above the cutoff line last week. And he even said in his interview he was not expecting to be in this position. The 94 of Bobby Terrell missed a race and said to himself, well, I'll just try and get wins. Well, he got his first win of the season last week. And he's on the run for another one this week. And I know it's only halfway at this point, but being the lead, that's a nice place for that 94 to be. He's going to get a few bonus points here as he crossed the start-finish line last time. And Jamie Walker does look like he wants it back, and he's right there on the back deck lid.
Jamie Walker about half a truck length behind your leader right now. Will he make a move, or is he going to stay in line? Looks like he's going to stay in line down here. Always looking to the inside. Can he get the slingshot to work?
Taking a peek.
He's taking a peek, but he's trying not to make it too obvious. He saw that it wasn't going to work. He ran out of room down the straightaway. Now he's going to catch right back up. An amazing entry, going to be on the rear bumper of the leader this time by looking on the inside. Jamie Walker trying to gain that inside line. He's going to be right on the rumble strips there. They're going to be door to door this time by out of 2.
Wow, look at this, and Seth Foudy's going to make it a 3-truck race. 3 wide for the lead, and Seth Foudy's on the bottom. He's in the best place, and he's not going to back out of it. Actually, he is. He's going to back out of it. It's not a place you really want to be. It's 3 wide for the lead, and the turn 3 is arguably one of the most difficult corners to do that. So 3 wide now becomes single file, and look how close, and look how fast all the trucks behind him caught up. You can look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, top 7. They cut the leaders very quickly once they went 3 wide.
What we saw Jamie Walker did there, basically slingshot and using the draft. I think a lot more guys are going to end up doing that, as we have a couple cars getting on the brakes a little bit early, but double file around the 6th position right now. Aaron Bennett trying to gain positions that he lost in that restart, or lost in track position during that caution, rather. Looking on the inside of the 4 of Robert Glenwater, taking that position away, but we're going to be snaking around to the inside line down the back straightaway. Jamie Walker back in control of the race, a man that we've seen late in this race, pretty much the first half of this race, back up to where he was.
Yeah, this looks like a really strong truck for that number 17. Look behind him, the Bobby Terrell's under heavy fire from Seth Foudy. And from the move that Foudy made about a lap ago, that does not surprise me that he's wanting to get by the 94, because Jamie Walker he's off. He's about 6-7 truck lengths away from these guys, and I do believe that Seth Foudy, with the move he made, with the momentum he had, he kind of maybe wishes he had not backed out, but at the same time, it's a really risky situation when you're only about halfway through. But speaking of halfway, we're going to take our midway race break here, presented by iRacing, the official, or I'm sorry, the only iRacing. Sorry, I'm just going to go through the list down. I'm having an issue with my words here. Jamie Walker, he's the leader right now by about a half a second right now over Bobby Terrell. Seth Foudy is in tow right behind him in 3rd. Mark McCrary is in 4th. 5th place is Scott Simley. He lost the lead in a lot of positions, included Aaron Bennett. He's in that number 6 position. Gillenwater is in 7th. Justin Michael 8th. Tommy Ryan, he's in 9th. And Chris Gibu, he's in 10th.
Michael Waith going to be in the 11th position right now. Trevor Harmon going to be battling for 12th place with Greg Mall right now. Nathan Davis in 14th. Steve Herring 15th. Michael Waters 16th. Keith Butt 17th. Glenn Hendricks going to be 18th. Jody Green 20th. And Robert Barber going to round out your top 20.
Shane Hawther up and down days in 21st currently. Jeff Ryan 22nd. Louis Robinette is in 23rd. I actually switched that with him and Ralph Vandervoort, who had an interesting beginning. Justin Kleiber 24th. Louis Robinette now 25th. Tristan Beats 26th. Randy Tesser, he's in the 27th position. Bobby Wetzel had an issue on the back straightaway, is in 28th. First car laps down, 8 laps down. Dwayne Dunn 29th, and Jacob McLeod, he's in 30th.
Brian's Cut's going to be 16 laps down. Michael Warren 20 laps down. Scott Formosa, Matt Mara, Michael Priester, Rick Holland Jr., Dylan Phillips, and Cody Gibson will round out your field.
And I'll try this one more for the iRacing, world's premier online racing game with professionalized, organized racing from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, and more. So I don't know what's wrong with my mouth, but I cannot say some words today. But back up front, Jamie Walker leads the way, and by quite a bit. He's 6/10 over Bobby Terrell, and then another 6/10 between him and Mark McCrary. And then a few tenths between him and Seth Foudy. Look at that 31 truck. He's a-coming right now.
He's making positions, trying to gain positions, taking advantage of Seth Foudy making a couple of mistakes in the corners. But like you said, Jamie Walker and Bobby Terrell pretty much pulling away from the pack right now. I want to see what the actual gap is this time by as they cross the start-finish line between first and second. 9/10 of a second right now separate the top 2 cars, and a whole 1.5 seconds separate the leaders from the rest of the field.
Yeah, there's a big gap between the first car, the second car, the third car, and then you have a few cars jumbled up. 31's really making his name right now. Mark McCrary in that 3rd position, and we talked about how he's been really getting up the field past Seth Foudy. Foudy's really in desperate need to try and get a win. He's been up there almost every single race in the top 5, and doing a good job in the points as well. I have to keep an eye on him. Scott Simley lost a few positions, so he's doing fine in 5th place. He is losing those guys in front of him. Maybe was a little bit too hard on those tires early on. Don't see any damage, so maybe it's a little bit hard on those tires. But then you're going to see that Justin Michael, who had a little bit he was on the wrong end of those pit stops, and then had an issue of his own in the pit road. And he does have 4 fresh ones on that truck, so kind of having a comeback right now. He was deep in the field when he had those tires put on the second time, and so he's in 6th right now. But that 87 has his work cut out for him as he's 3 seconds back.
One thing I'm going through the field right now is pretty much your top 5 leaders are running pretty much the same times on the track right now. Pretty much everyone's averaging about a 55.2 second lap, give or take a 10th or more on a couple other cars, but everyone pretty much having the same times with the truck. So even if there is tire wear going to these drivers, it's happening pretty much evenly. I mean, it's a fixed setup. Everyone's dealing with the same functions and changes, so it's not like one car is going to drastically be loose at some point and another one's not. All these guys are running the same setup, so tire wear may become an issue as we get slower or as we get more through this run, but it's going to be happening everywhere. So pretty much no time's going to be lost between these top 5 cars, other than the time that separates them right now.
And the 31 cannot get rid of that 22 with Seth Foudy. Foudy's trying to take a little slightly different position in each corner, going into 1 and going into 3. You can see the backfire on those tracks a little bit later than others. It looks like Seth Foudy's trying to maybe push into the corner a little bit harder than the 31, but the 31's able to get that push out of the corner, and so when you have more momentum, and even if you have the draft behind you, you're not going to be able to get as much speed as you like to, but as I say that, 22 is getting a really big run this time. He's probably not going to make it. He's going to show the nose this time. He's going to get the inside line, and he's going to be right on the inside of the 31 and try and contest that position. Outside is actually going to look to prevail this time. As the tires start to get a little bit more worn out, we're going to see that a little bit more often. So 31 is going to be able to keep his position, and they'll look right behind them. 87 and Justin Michael just took over 5th position from Scott Simley. So Simley loses another, and Justin Michael gets another.
Justin Michael and Jamie Walker, pretty much the guys that were cutting through the field no matter where they've started on these restarts. One thing that you pointed out with Seth trying to make a move on the inside, he showed the nose on there. With these long straightaways, you can pretty much pronounce to the driver in front of you if you want to go to the inside line or not, just like you do in Indy cars at this track. One thing that we saw in the beginning was people starting to get off or get on the brake earlier, let the guys take the inside line. In the start of the race, there was no use fighting. Now going on lap 47 on 48 right now. This is when the pressure starts to rise, the boiling point starts to get higher. These drivers want to start being more concerned with the positions that they're using and racing at right now.
Yeah, and the longer the green flag runs, the more you can get frustrated with your car, or truck here in these guys' case. And the more you get frustrated with the truck, the more you kind of drive it differently. Maybe taking a back seat, for say, could make you drive better. And for these guys that are in the top 10, they're in a good position and they know it. But they could always be thinking that they could get one more position, maybe just one more position. And that could really break their momentum or really hurt their tires a lot more in some cases. But I'm looking at the number 3 truck of Aaron Bennett, and he's going to come down pit road. And wow, look in front of him, Scott Simley. What a save coming down pit road. Wasn't the guy I was really looking at, but wow, I think that truck made about 3 or 4 saves and a half coming down pit road just to get that truck wound down. Lost a lot of momentum there, but trucks coming down pit road here as a little bit of strategy, trying to get these trucks back up to the front as soon as possible and getting a fresh rubber on these trucks.
And right where you were saying that, I was going to start pointing out that we were going to have a 3-car battle for 3rd place, but with the start of green flag pit stops, I'm pretty sure we'll start seeing some of the leaders come down the pit road this time by. I think Jamie Walker may have Jamie Walker got a little bit of tight. He almost hit the wall coming out of turn 3. I don't know if he'll decide to come down pit road this time by. I'm going to watch and see what he does. He's the leader. Looks like he's going to stay up high. Not going to take the pit road entry this time by, but Seth Foudy's going to join. 87 of Justin Michael's going to come down as well, nearly hitting the pit road commitment cone, while Mark McCary also goes down with him.
Yeah, Justin Michael's not going to try and hit that cone again. Otherwise, cone's going to come back and hit him. But yeah, a couple trucks coming down pit road. Justin Michael, Mark McCrary, all these guys really need more. They need these tires. It's really evident that even on a short run with only a few laps on these tires, it's starting to show with how loosey and tight these trucks are getting. Justin Michael actually went through his pit boxes a little bit, had to reverse that thing. So he's going to lose a little bit of time out of pit road here as these guys are getting all 4.
Yeah, slid through his pit stall a little bit there, and this is a situation where you really can't risk taking 3 tires. You got to take 4, and he's going to lose any position or any time he would have gained on the entry of that pit road as we go back to Jamie Walker, and he's going to stay out another lap. Don't know if he's deciding that there's going to be a crash or if this just isn't part of his strategy right now. Granted, he is the leader. He had one of the fastest cars on the track, but with everyone else starting to go in and pit, everyone else has those new Goodyear Eagles on their cars or on their trucks. They got the new grip. They're going to gain a couple tenths on their lap time. Jamie Walker, he might be at risk of losing some time if this green flag pit stop actually goes through and cycles through the field.
And then on the other side, Brandon, he could be looking to make sure that that truck can make it to the finish, maybe on only 1 stop. You know, some of these guys, or most of these guys, are on lap 52 right now, and if you do the math, if you could split it in half, these guys would. And I think some of these drivers are saying to themselves, let's split it into 3s with 2s really, and take 2 stops and then come down. But actually, Jamie Walker's going to come down now. So throw everything I was about to say out the window. Jamie Walker's going to make sure that he gets new tires as well. But like you said, he's going to have a little bit of less. He lost a little bit of time out there on the track with the less good tires that he had there. And he's one of the last drivers to come down pit road. As most drivers have come down pit road. Looks like Michael Waters will get the lead here. And looks like maybe the top 5 to top 6, 7, they haven't took tires, I should say. Or should I say Greg Malls is in the lead. But most drivers in the top group that were in the top group have taken the tires, and just a few of these drivers still out there trying to see what they can make of these trucks as they're still out there.
As you said there, Greg Mall inherited the lead. I don't think he's gone into pit yet. We'll have to see this time by when he comes out of forward. I've been paying attention to all the other guys coming into pit, and especially during green flag pit stops, people inheriting the lead. That'll change pretty much for about 5 laps before we get to see where everything cycles back through. Greg Mall is going to stay out as Michael Waters, yet again, going to be in second. He's roughly about, give or take, maybe about a quarter straightaway down, half a straightaway behind Greg Mall at this moment, while everyone else is pretty much starting to separate back there between lap cars and lead lap cars.
Yeah, the only thing that's not good for these new drivers with new rubber is that they're going to be, like you said, displaced between who has good and bad tires, and that really is a big speed difference between going 140 in the corners and 170 in the corners with brand new tires. You basically have little fall off in the corners, or little speed fall off, I should say, not tire fall off, but a little bit of, you don't have that much speed fall off in the corners when you have new tires, but when you have those old tires, you go down almost all the way down to below 140 miles an hour. So big difference between these guys, and as you're watching these guys with old tires still out there, you're going to see those lap cars unlap themselves and quickly maneuver themselves by them and get their laps back. And they got to do it quick though. They got to figure it out this pretty quick, because if a caution comes out, and this has been the longest green flag run we've had, with green flag stops almost being fully completed, they want to get these stops done soon, because they don't want to be left out to dry. And the drivers that are staying out, they want the caution to happen now, so that they can have the advantage of coming down pit road under caution and keeping their position.
Just like you said, Greg Mall, he hasn't come down to pit yet. A man who made the long trip down to pit road, not due to changing tires or getting fuel, was Tristan Beats. He lost an engine a couple laps ago, so he will probably not finish this race, which is a shame. He was looking for a good finish. He needed those points, as pretty much the battle right now is for 6th position. Aaron Bennett fighting with Justin Michael and Jamie Walker. Pretty much they're fighting for the lead right now. Whenever Greg Mall decides to go in and pit, they're probably going to inherit the lead from them, and so right now they're pretty much fighting for the lead right now, and pretty much for a win right now, as they're on lap 55.
I do believe it's actually going to be Bobby Terrell who's going to come down, or he's going to be the leader after all of this is said and done. Then he's going to have Mark McCrary being second. So those guys are doing battle for, it looks actually to be like 5th or 4th, or yeah, 5th here, as we're going to have those two guys, all of the pit cycles that's going to cycle out. So Bobby Terrell is your leader, as he is one of the first to come down pit road, with Mark McCrary, Seth Foudy, and Aaron Bennett coming along in tandem. And then you had Jamie Walker. He was one of the last ones, and he really didn't lose that much time, and he's really going to be able to pass these guys better than anybody else. But the only thing about it is that once these guys in front of him start to do battle, he can't do anything. Yeah, going 3 wide's not really an option unless you're doing it on the back straightaway or the front straightaway, and even then, it's still pretty difficult.
Like we've been saying the whole race, it's pretty much a 1-lane track here. It doesn't have the feel of a mile and a half. It's certainly not the banking of a mile and a half, so it's hard to really go double file or even 3 wide on the corners. So a lot of guys are fighting for a 1-lane track. You got to make those moves down the straightaways. You got to go to the inside and really not back down. That's how you're going to make up positions, and that's how you're going to pass people here. As pretty much everyone's back to single file yet again. Jamie Walker, Aaron Bennett, pretty much the 2 closest guys right now. You could say Seth Foudy and Mark McCrary just as close, if not closer there, but they're still separated by about a car length or a truck length right now. So we're right as I say that, Jamie Walker's making the inside work for him down the back straightaway as he passes Justin Michael, but it's pretty much single file right it out to the end of the race right now, as the leaders and the top 5 exit turn forward.
Yeah, Justin Michael just lost his top 5 status to Jamie Walker, and Jamie Walker, he's got a lot of time to make up between him and Bobby Terrell if he wants to win, and he's got a few cars, or trucks, I should say, between him and them as well. And Aaron Bennett, he's definitely been a driver that's wanted to stay up there. He got the pole and really led a few laps and then lost it quickly to Jamie Walker, and it just happens to be right behind him now. And Jamie's going to show that inside move right there in the turn 2, and it's almost going to be uncontested quite there. Can't really quite get that to work, and then in the wake, look at 87 trying to get on the inside. He does make it work. 3 cars not going to have the momentum, but he is going to have the draft, so we're just going to have to see how it works out between these two. The 3's pushing the 17 as hard as he can, trying to get through the corner. Look at the 87 have a little bit of a comeback right here. He lost a position and then trying to get 2 right there in that corner, but only got his position back, so he's going to regain the top 5 status. But number 3 of Aaron Bennett, he's going to be the big loser on that one, to lose 2 positions from that.
I don't know if it was really his fault that he lost those positions there. He was just stuck in between the wall. Justin Michael and Jamie Walker there, so the best thing he could have done there was get out like he did there, and he's going to try and just run him back down as Justin Michael trying to make the inside line work that we've seen work for him pretty much through the all race against the guy who has also used the inside line the whole race. So it's 2 guys that pretty much know how they're going to be racing each other. As their double file in front of him, Jamie Walker is going to get a huge draft from the lap car of Justin Kilber, possibly going to make the inside line work, looking to pass the 31 of Mark McCary. This time into 3, he's on the bottom. Can Jamie get there? Oh man, he might have the momentum this time by. They're going to be separated by about a car length apart, and Jamie Walker's just going to make it look super easy as he enters turn 4.
Yeah, look at the 31, just trying everything he could, but it was on the exits of the corner that was the big deal right there. Is the 17 just has the tires, and it's quite frank, or quite honestly, the factor that's giving him this many positions. But you would think for as late as he went in, he'd lose all that time on the track, but that's obviously not the case. He's back to 3rd, and Seth Foudy, he got himself all the way to 2nd, highest he's been all day, and he's got a hard charging Jamie Walker behind him. You can just see the gap just get decimated right there in turns 2, and 17 showing the way on the bottom side, going to be side by side with him here, and Foudy's not going to be able to have a choice on whether he gets him in the corners. He got him on the straightaway, and looks like the 17 is going to be able to pass him going outside of the corners, and it's going to be a small snake line behind Bobby Terrell, but charge for the lead. Jamie Walker's has a long way to go to get to Bobby Terrell. He's got about 2 seconds to get to him. At this point, we are going to take a short side-by-side break with 19 to go, and let's see if Jamie Walker can catch Bobby Terrell in the next 19 laps. We'll see you on the other side. This has been LSRTV, the voice of Sim Racer. Welcome back to the BNC Lawn and Landscaping 200 as pit stops are underway. Probably the last pit stops of the night, and you're seeing the number 3. The number 17 is making a short pit option compared to everyone else, and I'd say they're going to take all 4, a splash of gas, and they're going to be on their way, and this is going to be quite an interesting one with as many pit stops as we're seeing these drivers do. This looks like to be the 6th pit stop for some of these guys. A lot of work out on pit road, and these guys had great entrances. Almost every single one of them did, and 4 fresh ones on the number 17. The 3 is they're down pit road.
Jamie Walker, a man that we saw stay out a little bit longer last time during the green flag pit stops than everyone else, he's going to be the first ones down, and this is the time where you cannot risk messing up. Justin Michael, is he going to come down? He is. He's going to come down pit road this time by, yet again gaining a lot of ground on Seth Foudy. Let's see if he can actually make it to his pit stall this time without any problems. This is when you don't want to have any problems. It's going to be between Justin Michael, Seth Foudy, and Jamie Walker, and all the guys we've seen in the top 5, and it'll all be decided on pit road. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, permitting there's no cautions. This is definitely where this race is going to be settled, is on in the pit road, on and off, and how you've really managed tires once you've got them, and when you've got them too. There's so many variables when you come down pit road for how you can win a race, and Bobby Terrell, he's one of the only drivers to still stay out. Scott Simley also stayed out. Those 2 drivers, they are staying out, and this is arguably going to be one of the longer runs that they are having. Currently, they're still staying out, but it does look like the 94 is slowing it down. Nope, he's going to take another. No, he is coming down. He's psyched me out. He's going really fast outside of the corner, but arguably one of the fastest entrances into pit road that we have seen. And you're going to see a few guys go by in their lap cars, and of course behind him, Scott Simley. He's actually going to still stay out, get another lap led. The 68 is going to still stay out, but everyone else has come down pit road.
Indeed, Aaron Bennett taking advantage of the newer tires, passing Justin Michael, and right now everyone's going in pit road. The lead's going to be changed at least half a dozen times between the next 3 laps, so I really won't be able to tell who's the leader right now with everyone pitting. Some guys might be taking 2, some guys might be taking 4. Justin Michael and Aaron Bennett actually. So Aaron Bennett sideways out of 4. He's sideways.
No.
3 cars blocking pit road. I don't know if the caution's going to come out off the racing surface. He's going to turn left and bring it down pit road, not bringing out a caution, but major implications for this race between Aaron Bennett. Got a little sideways out of turn 4 there. May have made contact. Let's see. I don't think he made contact with anyone. I think the air just got him a little loose with Justin Michael on the outside. Tried to save it. The 22 of Seth Foudy made a little bit of contact after he was already sideways, but he would make hard contact with the inside retaining barrier out of turn 4, and that will pretty much end his run at any chance of a win tonight.
Yeah, really unfortunate for that number 3 truck, and he's down pit road. Once again, he's going to lose a lap. Maybe a lap and a half after this one's over. It sounds silly to say a lap and a half for as big as this track is. It means a lot, especially with the fact that these trucks are so spread out. That was the biggest action we've had in a long while since the green flag had really come back out. These trucks really got single file, and the racing was hard, far in between. When the battles happened, they were pretty quick, because once the initial green flag pit stops came out, these trucks were definitely spread out and trying to figure out where to go. Right now, the 3 is kind of a fish out of water. He has the hand that's dealt to him. He's just got to just play it as much as possible and just stay out there. Perhaps stay out as long as possible. Get that truck as many points as it can get, but that 3 truck's in a bad position right now.
He tried to get as much damage repaired as he could there, but pretty much the only thing that he can really hope for at this point is a caution to try and maybe gain some positions and get back up there to have a chance to race for it.
Yeah, it appeared he was the first car lap down until it looks like Michael Waite, he's the first car lap down. So if a caution were to come out, we only have about 13 laps left, so it's getting down to the end of it before we know it, as this green flag has really started to propel the momentum forward in this one. But it looks like Aaron Bennett's trying to get the momentum off some other cars, as well as we still talk about him and trying to get one more position on the track to try and get that lead lap status back, but it's probably not going to happen at this stage in the race. Got to talk about Greg Maul. He's in second place in that number 12 truck, and right behind Michael Waters. These guys are staying out. in hopes to not have, in hopes to get a caution, because they're in a good spot. 17 trucks on the lead lap right now. That would be a very good position with the fact that they can come down pit road under green flag or under yellow flag conditions. But these guys have been doing this strategy the entire time. We've seen these guys do this every time. Waters and Mall continuing to try and do that. They're trying to battle actually for the lead, it looks like right now. 12's on the inside. These guys will have to come down pit road eventually, it looks like, but trying to do battle for the lead right now, and the 12 is going to come out and exactly what they were looking for. The caution flag is out. I'm going to have to find it. These trucks are so far apart from each other that I'm not really seeing the action. I think you found it, Brandon.
Ooh, even more contact down as the 29 car of Trevor Harmon was coming down the track. Car actually made contact with him, thinking he was going to stay in the middle of the track. Just bad timing getting back into the gas for the 29 car, collecting another car. Can't get the name or number on that car at the moment, but this is going to change. Gillenwater was actually involved in that, my apologies, but this is going to change everything. We're going to have around, give or take, 8 laps to go when this race comes back to green, so pretty much any strategy at that point is going to be thrown out of the window.
Oh, wow, you hate to see that for two drivers that were just trying to get everything they could. 29 was around already, and then the number 4 truck of Gillenwater had nowhere to go once the 29 started coming down the track, and once the caution flags out, you'd expect everyone to go as slow as possible, and the 29 I'm going to just assume, thought he could get down to the bottom, thought the 4 truck was not as fast as he was going, but that mistake from the 29 ended the number 4 truck's night, and in his own as well, as that 29 probably could have got it back in just a little bit of service. But speaking of service, we are going to have all these trucks down here, I'm sure, for the final time with about 10 laps to go.
Oh, most definitely. Even if you just went into pit and you have 4 tires, this is it. This is make it or break it time. You need. We saw the guys earlier in the race pitting after one lap of green flag running. I expect to see everyone here, but one thing I expect to see, actually a lot of trucks doing, especially in the back half of the field, is taking 2 tires. I think that'll really make a difference, especially in this situation. You want to gain those positions. You got around 8 laps to go. We're getting close to the end of the regular season. 2 tires right now, if you're, I'd say anything like 10th on back would be the way to go to try and make positions.
And look at the few cars staying out. The 48 of Michael Waite, the 3 of Aaron Bennett. They're going to, well, the 48's going to get the lucky dog this time, and so he will be able to get service on that truck. But we talked about Aaron Bennett, that what he needed was a caution. Did not get that lucky dog, so he's going to have to take the wave around if he wants his lap back, or he'll come down pit road. We'll just have to see. But Justin Michael, he's going to stay out, along with Shane Hawthorne. He's not going to get his lap back via the wave around process. And then the next truck on the lead lap that did not come in was the 93 of Justin Kleiber. He was at 9th, and we haven't talked about that truck all day. It has a little bit of damage, but still out there doing work, and he'll be 2nd if I'm not mistaken when it comes all out. The truck has been here and there when it comes to being in issues here today, but truck's still alive, still out there, and you know, sometimes these strategies really work out for you. We're going to tend to go this time by, and we'll see if he does come back in. It'd be pretty unwise if you were to come down when everyone else did, and everyone else in front of you then has fresh tires. So I think he's going to have to commit to this plan at this point. But the 93 could potentially put himself in a good position right now.
Definitely. Tommy Rain having an amazing pit stop that time by. Took 4 tires, beat out Greg Mall and Jamie Walker. Jamie Walker actually lost 2 positions there to the 2 guys I just talked about, followed by Michael Waters and George Hendricks. These will be the guys that are racing with 4 tires, and pretty much they got a buffer, give or take, what, 3-4 cars that stayed out this time by that actually might be going in this here.
Yeah, that's what it looks like there, Brandon. And it looks like that 93 chart is going to come down pit road with a slew of other trucks. And, you know, it's kind of interesting to see. Perhaps he does need to get the damage buffed out on that 93 truck. And perhaps he's thinking if he's got that damage, he doesn't want to be a part of that battle up front and mess anybody up. But it looks like we have a total of, looks like 19 trucks possibly going to be on the lead lap. As we come to the green flag in just a few laps, we're going to have the 3 and looks like the number number 8 as well. They're going to take the wave around. They did not come down pit road. It was open to them last time, so they'll be 18th and 19th. And on the lead lap again, they will have a huge disadvantage when they do get their wave around. They won't have new tires, and the 3 truck, he's going to have really scuffed out tires because of his spin out. With the 8 truck of Jeff Ryan, it's had an up and down day, been a lap down, but started 23rd, still 19th. He may be able to get that spot from Aaron Bennett once they get the green flag. Still a lot of positions up to grab. 1 through 17 is there. Michael Witt got that machine all tuckered down and with new tires, and everyone behind, just the few up front, they're gonna have fresh tires, and that's gonna be really hard to beat anybody with new tires right now.
And with that said, Justin Michael, a guy that's part of the half a dozen drivers that we've been talking about in and out of the race, that's been part of just making the inside line work, because that's where all the positions have been taken care of, and being in the front, he's going to be the only car in the front that actually stayed out. As I said just a few moments ago, Tommy Rain, Greg Mall, Jamie Walker, Waters, all those guys have 4 tires. So at this point, Justin Michael, it's either 3 things. He planned on more people staying out, more people taking 2, or he's extremely confident with his car, the way it's set up right now, and he thinks he can stay in the front, or he's thinking that it'll just go to a caution right after another caution, and he'll end up winning in this race under caution. But he has a very big struggle ahead of him for this point, with all the guys behind him with 4 brand new tires, and with him on the old ones.
He's got to hope a lot if he's going to want to try and get 2 cautions or a potential 1 caution and still stay in the lead after 5 laps. Or it looks like it's going to be about 4 laps when it comes to the point of no return, as we like to call it. And with 5 laps to go, there's no green light checker. Once the caution comes out at that point, it's either one green flag lap with a white flag out as well, or it's over. So whoever's in the lead under 5 laps to go is typically in a really good position, permitting that they are able to keep that position until the end of the race. So Justin Michael, let's go throughout your top 10 actually. Justin Michael, he leads Tommy Ryan. Started 3rd and kind of headed backwards for the first part, and he's back up to 2nd. Greg Mall used that pit strategy to get where he is right now, and I tell you what, you're in an ear when you do something like that to get a little bit of luck on your side. So he's in 3rd. Jamie Walker 4th, talked about him a lot today. Michael W. Waters, he's in 5th. George Hendricks just out the top 5, he's in 6th. Bobby Terrell 7th. Mark McCrary, he's in 8th. Scott Simley, he's in 9th. And Chris Gavue, he is in the top 10. I think he's been there for the better half of the last half of this race. So pace car going to round out turns number 3, going to go to turns number 4, and this might be our final restart, Brandon, as pace car is going to slowly lead these guys in the turns 3 and 4. And as the leader, Justin Michael, you know these guys have those tires behind you, and you know you have to really get a good restart. It's going to be one of those restarts that it's going to make or break the race for these guys. And 87, 6, 12, 17, and 55. Top 5 right here as we go green one more time. iRacing pace car comes down pit road, and that 87's already on the gas, going down the front straightaway. And here we go. Green flag is in the air as they cross the stripe.
Justin Michael had to do everything he could there to gain as much position between him and the field. As we have noted, he is on older tires. Greg Mall making the inside line work as he passes Tommy Rain on the outside, as Tommy's going to slowly...
6 in the wall.
Barely gets into the wall there, as Jamie Walker's in the 17 machine's going to take 3rd away from him. And the gap that the 87 have, I believe it'll be cut down at least by half by the time they enter 3. And pretty much Bobby Terrell, George Hendricks, a huge mess of cars stuck 3 wide, way behind the leaders. But right now it's still Justin Michael leading this thing, coming to at least 6 to go this time by, with Greg Mall and Jamie Walker in pursuit.
3 wide in the middle of the pack, but no one's looking there because all the action is in front of them. 4P number 2, and look at that 94 truck of Bobby Wetzel. He just got a mound of spots right there, and he's going to be coming as well. Jamie Walker now 3rd, hunting down the 12 of Greg Mall. There's a big gap between them, so he has a lot of work to do, but not a lot to worry about behind him. If he can just get these guys in front of him. Look at the move down to the bottom of the track. Number 17 down to the bottom, try and get another position. He gets the 2nd place, and it's his race to go get from Justin Michael. And Michael, it's his race to lose at this point, but these guys were in a similar position last week, and with the caution flag kind of stripped them away of this battle. And here we go again. The number 87, the number 17, they'll do battle in the coming laps. It's only a matter of time before that 17 truck catches the 87. It's the way it was the last green flag lap, or green flag run as well. They're going around turn 4, and we will have 6 laps to go this time by.
And that's one thing that Justin Michael did not want to see. He wanted to see Jamie Walker and Greg Mall battle it out for at least another lap, because Jamie Walker has cut his lead by half. This time by entering 1, it is down to a 2/10 lead right here. It's going to be cut down to at least a 1 truck lead. Jamie Walker looking to the inside of the 87. 87's going to go down and block him. Justin Michael closing the door on him, and there's a caution down in the field.
We're going to have
stopped. 13 of Jody Green stopped on the outside of the track right now. Give me a moment. I don't know if we're going to go back to green.
I do believe we're going to have at least 1 or 2 laps here, Brandon, because it was just outside the 5 to go mark. So this will be really close here.
But man, what a move. What a move by Justin Michael, closing the door on Jamie Walker. If we end up going back to green, it'll be either a 2 or 1 lap shootout. If not, I think it will go back to green. But Jamie Walker did the best he could. Yeah, just the best move that Justin Michael could have made there.
Yeah, going back to the caution flag and why we have it. You saw it on your screen, it looked like a tire went down for that 13, but in all reality, it looks like Jody Green had a black screen for that guy, so I'll actually have to look at his Facebook and see what happened, because he typically does Facebook Live for that number 13 truck, so really unfortunate for that 13 truck, and I do believe we will get a couple laps to go. I don't know how many, I'm going to say 2. But for those guys up front, and for anybody else in the top 5, they're not pitting. There's no way that they're going to try and give up that track position. But for anybody outside the top 10, maybe even more, they're going to go... Excuse me, they're going to come down pit road and get themselves some tires. I'd say Aaron Bennett's going to come down. Jeff Ryan, well, not Jody Green, because he exited the service. But everybody at the tail end of the lead lap, they're going to come down on pit road, and they're going to really actually probably get a few spots here. So if you're in anywhere outside the top 10, you're going to think to yourself, well, if I don't come down pit road, I'm going to lose like a lot of positions if everyone behind me comes in. So I might as well come down pit road and get some tires.
Well, as you're saying that, Justin Michael's going to stay out. Jamie Walker looks like he's going to try and maybe fake the field. He's not going to stay out. Top 5, top 6, top 7, top 8, top 10. Totally not going to go down pit road. Couple guys in the back may decide to go down, but you pretty much you're running what you got right now. This is the caution before the one we just had was the time to make any changes or any additional tires or anything that you could have changed your car there. That was the time. Now is not the time, saying how we're going to see about 2 laps to go. Like I said, you pretty much got to race what you have right now.
I am surprised that the guys at the very end, including Aaron Bennett, don't come down pit road, because they have nothing to lose. They don't have any lap cars really behind them to pass them. They're at the very end of the lead lap, but perhaps they have something up their sleeves that we don't know up here in the booth. But as these guys are tailing the pace car, they're going to have only a few laps to go, just probably a couple actually. These guys have a lot to think about in these caution flag laps, and honestly, we have a lot to talk about. I mean, each of these drivers has like a really big story behind them of how they really got where they are. The guys at front, they've kind of been there the whole race, the Toyotas that you see, but the 12 car of Greg Mall made a really good choice to stay out and just as much as possible. That 12 of Greg Mall wanted to see what he could do if he stayed out front, knew he didn't have the truck if he went down, but the caution came out, saved him, and now he's in 3rd place. And then you look behind him, Bobby Terrell, kind of been there, kind of not been there, but back into 4th place where he started. Then look at the 55, up from 25th to 5th. One of the biggest movers. I think Steve Herring actually has that right. Well, I can't math right now, so I'll have to make sure that I can math later and give the right when it's all over and done with. But definitely 20 positions is quite a bit here.
Yep, and as we're coming back to, what is this, about 3rd lap of caution, 2nd lap of caution, one thing that's probably making Justin Michael's heart race like crazy is the restart. Now you might be wondering, well, it's just a restart, what is he going to do? Well, there's a lot of things he can do. He's on the older tires, like we've said. Jamie Walker has the newer tires on, so Justin Michael has to do what he did last time and get the run on the field. But everyone knows that he stayed out. They know that he's on old tires, and they know for a fact that last time, as soon as the pace car ducked down the pit road, he hit the loud pedal and went. Now, as a driver, we all have our certain ways of wanting to get on the gas and wanting to control a restart. The field can easily predict whether he goes as soon as the pace car would go. That's what I would think he would go. So Justin has to either think if he can drag it out as long as he can before he can take the green, or go as soon as the pace car goes, because this restart will decide it for Justin. He needs to try and get as much room from him and Jamie Walker as possible here.
Well, it looks like these guys may get a one-lap shootout. We'll know the next time by. If they go double file next time by, it will be a one-lap shootout. If they don't, the race is over. But with the way these guys are doubling and kind of moving around, I'd say we still got one more in them. And once that green flag comes out, the white flag is going to come with it, and all bets are off. There's going to be no caution to end this one. It'll be a one-lap shootout for these trucks. And Justin Michael's in a good position. He gets to decide how fast these guys go into turn one, when they go, and how they really approach this final lap. He can definitely get these guys into turns 1 and 2, but whether he can keep Jamie Walker behind him in turns 3 and 4, that's going to be really tough for the 17 to pass him. I think this is going to be a really good battle. For 2 laps, I think Jamie Walker had a chance. I think he really did. But with 1 lap, it's gonna be such a close race.
With the horsepower that these trucks have at Indianapolis, it at least takes 1 lap to pretty much get up to full speed. So Jamie Walker will be up to full speed, and Justin will be up to full speed pretty much right as soon as they're entering 3. So there ain't a whole lot of time for Jamie Walker to actually make it happen. We got to check and see if the pace car lights go off this time by, and
they do.
They do. So we'll have a 1-lap shootout. Am I correct there on that one?
Actually, it does look like they'll get it.
All right.
Yeah, 1-lap shootout here.
All right. So as I was saying, Justin Michael has the biggest decision. This is the race. He needs to make sure that either he gets a good restart or Greg Mall just shoves the heck out of him on the inside line, and he needs Jamie Walker to spin those tires. Vice versa, Jamie Walker wants to be even with the 87 right as soon as they cross the start-finish line. This will be decided, I honestly believe, on this restart.
Oh, most definitely. And if the 87 can get a trunk length or 2, that's just going to give him the most confidence going the next 2 turns. And you can never get those butterflies too early either, going into turns 3 and 4. You can never forget, and I think it's at least happened to every one of these guys once, leading the race and going into the final corners and almost losing it, knowing that they're so close to the finish too. So you can never lose sight of the prize. Even as Justin Michael, he's won so many times this year, or the season, I should say. He's the most decorated winner so far. But I think Jamie Walker, it's going to be between these two for the points, for the top of the points chart as well. So I think Jamie Walker is going to try it maybe an extra little bit to try and keep that, and Justin Michael I think he wants another win on the top of that resume for the season, and to only decorate himself more. So pace car goes into turn 4, 87, 17, 12, 94, and 55. That's how they roll, and this is going to be an exciting one. iRacing Ford Mustang pace car is going to make its dive down pit road. And here they go. Final restart, and white flag are in the air. Justin Michael gets a tremendous run, and the 12 on the inside is actually still there on Jamie Walker's inside. This is going to be really difficult for those guys to settle it out. They have to settle it now as they go into turn 1.
Justin Michael did everything he needed to there. Waited it out a little bit more as Greg Mall's going to try and make a move, trying to block Jamie Walker. The battle right now is for second, with the 87 walking away with this right now. Jamie Walker making the pass easy on Greg Malls. Something he's been doing all day. They're going to be side by side for 4th. Bobby Terrell on the inside of Greg Mall. Jamie Walker's going to try and make a move, probably this time by into 3 and 4, trying to use the inside line like he's been doing.
As they round turn 3 and go into turn 4, he is catching him, but I don't believe it's going to be in time. 87 is going to round the corner with the 17 behind him, and he's close in tow. It's actually going to be very close. 17 is going to be really almost there. He's not going to be quite there. The 87 is going to win. It's going to be Justin Michael as they wreck behind him in turn number 4. Give it to Justin Michael.
Jamie Walker did everything he could, but he just ran out of time. 87 of Justin Michael will win tonight's BNC Lawn and Landscaping 200 with a tremendous restart, pretty much as perfect as he could have done. That was what he needed to do. He did it perfectly.
Yeah, he pulled the 12 along with him of Greg Mall, and if Greg Mall wouldn't have been there with the speed that the 17 that Jamie Walker would have had, it was actually going to be his to lose at that point. 17 just had so much more power under that Toyota than the 87 was able. They have the same power, but the tires was there's such a gap, and you could see it in those final corners. And perhaps the 87 was maybe just making sure that it was going to actually get to the end and he didn't make any mistakes, but that made it interesting towards the end. I thought the 17 had a run there, but 87 was able to make it so that truck was going to be able to get there to the finish, and he'll burn it down right there in front of us as he gets closer to that Brickyard finish line.
With that said, an amazing finish by the top 2 guys. Almost was a drag race. I don't know what would have happened after that, but right now Seth Foudy and the 68 of Scott Simley obviously not happy with each other. They've been door banging the whole time from the back straightaway down to pit road. They'll probably be talking to each other after this race. Huge disagreements going on right now, but 87 of Justin Michael burning it down right now here at the Brickyard.
Man, as he does that, he'll do some burnouts, and we'll take a small break, and we'll be able to talk to him after his dust-filled lungs are relieved, and then Jamie Walker, or smoke, I should say, smoke-filled lungs with the rubber and everything. We'll talk to him in just a little bit. We'll also talk to Jamie Walker, who finished shortly behind him in second, and then Bobby Terrell, last week's winner, now third. Talk to him as well, and we'll see everybody, all of you on the other side. Don't go anywhere. We'll talk to all these guys in just a little bit for LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
It was more than impressive, I have to say. I mean, the track is identical to the real track. I was blown away how realistic it is. Every little bump, every little spray paint, everything is exactly like you were there at the track. It was a great experience. This is a warm-up lap now. Tires to get warmed up. The engine. Breathe a little bit here when you go through that little bump there. And then it's flat pretty much all the way through here, just about. Hard braking. This is the slowest part of the track. And then I've done, I did many races in Formula 3, Formula 2, and then I did the very last race they did there in Group C in 1983 in the 956 Porsche. That's when Beloff got the lap record at the 6:11. I think I was second on the grid with the 6:14 or something, which was, those cars were awesome around there, of course, like any car is, that speed. And this is the corner of all corners here, the Schwedenkreuz. Flat all the way into it. And then trail brake all the way into the apex here. And then hard at it again to get good speed down the hill here. Mega fast down this hill here. Just jump from one apex to the next. Gotta be super precise here. It's almost exactly like the real thing. So, it is certainly realistic enough to get past the a lot of the initial hurdles you have when you try to learn to drive a race car, So, I think it's an excellent tool to learn how to race for sure, or learn to drive a car on a racetrack.
Welcome back to LSRTV's full coverage of the United Sim Racing BNC Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series as we just finished the Indianapolis, or the BNC Lawn and Landscaping 200 here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where Justin Michael took another win on the season. He's absolutely dominating the last 6 or 7 races, so we'll get to talk to him in just a little bit. So just sit tight as we do our full field rundown. Justin Michael does get that win with Jamie Walker. He gets second place, just shy of that, getting that win from him. Bobby Terrell, he finishes third with Greg Mall making an excellent plan to finish fourth. Scott Simley, he finishes fifth. Seth Foudy finishes where he started in sixth. Michael Waters from 25th to 7th. And then Mark McCurry, he finishes 8th. Bobby Wetzel, after a huge rebound, up to 9th. Chris Cabew, he finishes out the top 10.
Starting your top 20 from there will be the 11th place. Michael Waits finished 11th. Sorry about that. Stephen Herring will finish 20th. George Hendricks will finish 13th. Aaron Bennett, a man who just caught a bad break, will finish 14th tonight. Justin Cleaver will finish 15th. Tommy Rain will finish 16th. Tommy Ryan, my bad, will finish 16th. Jeff Ryan will finish 17th. Nathan Davis will finish 18th. Robert Barber will finish 19th. And Shane Halther will round out your top 20.
Ralph Vandervoort still finished in the 21st position, 1 lap down, and everyone behind him is multiple laps down or out of the race. Randy Tesser finishes 22nd. Jody Green with a blackout screen finishes 23rd. Dwayne Dunn 24th. Robert Gillenwater 25th. Trevor Harmon, he finished 26th. Tristan Dietz finished 27th. Keith Butt 28th, 29th with Robinette, and then Brian Cutts, he finishes out 30th.
31st will be Jacob McLeod. Michael Warren will finish 32nd. Scott from Mersa 33rd. Matt Mara will finish 34th. Michael Priester 35th. Ricken Howell Jr. 36th. And Dylan Phillips will round out your field in 37 tonight, 69 laps down.
Yeah, and as we round out that field, we are about to talk to Justin Michael here in Victory Lane at number 87. Once again, I get to talk to you in Victory Lane, and it's a little common. About every other week, we get to talk to you here in Victory Lane, and the celebration's ongoing. And Justin, you're getting ever so close to getting the points lead, and the person you need to beat every week is Jamie Walker. You beat him by one position, but you also get the win. Talk to us about how it feels again to be in Victory Lane.
Oh, man, it definitely feels great. I think we kind of stole this one tonight. We were definitely the wrong call. Well, I guess it ended up being the right call, but I should have pitted that last pit stop, and I thought the leader was staying out. And I guess I was just keeping an eye on the wrong car, so that's why I stayed out. And it's just the cautions kind of worked out in our favor there, because 2 times he definitely could have passed us.
Now talk to us about that last lap and the restart. Me and Brandon talked about how it was going to be that restart that won you the race. There was no question about it, and you got such a good run that the 12 also was able to get on the inside of Jamie Walker. And then once Walker got past the 12 of Greg Mall, then he was able to go in pursuit of you and was only 9/100ths of a second behind you at the very end.
Yeah, I know that they're teammates, and I actually expected Greg to let him go, and he didn't, so I was kind of happy about that. I think that's really what won it for us, because I think we pulled out to probably about a 6/10 lead there on the backstretch, and then he just ate us up going into 3 because of the tire difference. And I was going to run him down to the wall and all over the place, trying to not get him to pass us, but it would have been a fun finish.
Now going forward, it's going to be an exciting week next week, and talk to us about how it's going to feel getting ever so close to that points lead. You get a little small gap between Greg Mall. You only had 1 point difference between him, so you space that out a little bit more. You get closer to Jamie Walker. It doesn't mean much because there's going to be a playoff and you guys are going to be reset eventually, but if you were to get that points lead, how do you think that would really propel that team?
I mean, it's definitely going to be a good confidence booster. Even though there's a playoff system, you still want to go into that being in first. So that's our goal right now, is to still get the points lead. That way, when we go into the playoffs, however many more weeks that is away, we'll go into first, and hopefully we can just maintain the entire time.
Well, before we let you go, as always, we're going to give you a quick time, or a little bit of time, to give a quick shout out to everybody who makes it happen for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Just thank all my guys for watching out there on the stream at twitch.tv/SemTVNation. I got to thank CMX Express for coming on board a couple weeks ago. If anybody's looking for a job, West, definitely check them out online. Just thank you guys for calling a good race again.
All right, there you have it. There's the 87 of Justin Michael getting yet again another win on the season. It's absolutely dominating, but I'm going to bring it down, or take it down, to Brandon, who's on pit road, and he's caught up with the 17 of Jamie Walker.
Thank you, Austin. I'm standing right next to a very fast 17 machine, a car that was driven by a wheelman tonight, making moves left and right, Jamie Walker. Jamie Walker, you raced hard, you led laps today, you were able to make the inside line work. What did you think of this race throughout the whole?
I just wish I had just a couple more laps. A couple more is all I need. Wow, man, this truck was just hooked up tonight. I can't complain at all. I figured something out, and it was on a rail tonight. I liked it.
Yeah, we were talking about that up in the broadcast booth. If it was pretty much right in your favor, we could see that it was right in your wheelhouse. You were pretty much in control of the car and making it do whatever you want. You said the setup was in your favor. Do you think you could have done anything different? I know it was a one-lap shootout there, but is there anything that you knew, like right then and there, that you could have done something different?
No, the only thing I could have done is got a better restart, and that's it's kind of almost impossible to figure out when to go. So it's just he got the good restart, and I just tried to make up ground, just come up just a little bit short.
A little bit short, but it was still an amazing race. Like we've said the whole time, you were up in the front leading laps, and you were on a rocket ship tonight. You were making moves. Just the bad break with that last or second to last caution there. So coming in round 15 out of 20 rounds in the regular season, you're the points leader. Is there anything that you're using right now? Is it just practice, or are you just looking forward to the actual chase beginning?
Yeah, right now, I'm just trying to protect what I got. I mean, I think I'm pretty much safe. I'll make the chase, so I'm just kind of learning stuff, having fun, enjoying my time right now until the real work begins.
Alrighty then. Well, just like you said himself, if there could have been another lap, he knows that he could have given Justin Michael another run. Is there anybody you got to thank for this awesome setup and awesome ride and awesome machine you had tonight?
Oh yeah, I gotta congratulate Justin Michaels, one of my teammates rather. He's running the same sponsor as I am with CMX, and anybody's ever looking for drivers, they're the ones to go with. The CMX Express, they're pretty good trucking company to go with.
Well, throughout the interview, wise words were given from Jamie Walker. Jamie, thanks for giving an interview. A lot of guys actually for some reason they skip out on a second place interview. I'm glad you didn't tonight, and yet again, congratulations on a second place finish. Just a little short tonight, but still a good points day.
It's all I can do is keep plugging away. I thank you guys very much.
And we thank you just as much. I'm going to send it back over to you, Justin, where you got a third place Bobby Terrell, I believe.
Yeah, I've caught up with Bobby Terrell, who's finished in the third position, and you get to talk to us once again. Last time you were the winner, but I think you're just going to be just as happy with his kind of a complicated day for that number 24 truck, or 94 truck. I apologize for the misnumber for you there, but the 94 truck had kind of a complicated day. Talk to us about how it went there for you.
It went okay. I mean, I thought Jamie had the fastest truck tonight, and like I said, just it got a little hairy there sometimes on getting shuffled back and taking tires, but overall, I mean, a lot of guys gave it a lot of room, and it was a lot of fun, and was able to bring it home third. I'll take it. I didn't feel like I kind of struggled with the setup a little bit all day, so I'll take it.
Now, we didn't ask the other drivers this question, but I was thinking about this. Next week is the road course for this year, and it's going to be at the Glen. Talk to us about how that's going to be for you guys. Do you have a good road program? Because it's the only one I see on the schedule, and it's going to be interesting for you guys. I think we might see some breakout guys really move up there, but are you one of those guys that we might see up there towards the front?
I have no idea. I mean, I do okay on the road, but I'm not a dominant road guy by any means. But I hold my own. I mean, I should hopefully come in the top 10. I think Michigan's next week. I think they said, and I think the road course is after that, but I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the schedule.
All right, well, we'll take a look at that for sure. Going back to the race, talked about those green flag pit stops that were starting to sneak up on you guys here or there. Were you guys pitting based on fuel strategy, or were you guys based on tire strategy? Because it seemed like you guys were coming in quite frequently as the green flag lap started going.
I was just basing it on, splitting the run up, depending on how many laps was left. I knew we couldn't make it, whatever 20 laps or 21 laps we could, but I just split it up, split my runs up. I thought maybe, if it had stayed green, it would have been real interesting how it played out because, they pitted a little earlier than me and on that last stop. So, and I had the fresher tire, so it'd been interesting.
All right, well, before we let you go, you did get third place here, and we're going to let you have a shout out, or some time to give a shout out to everyone who makes it happen for you.
I just like to thank my teammates, of course, Scott and Randy, and then USR for putting this on, and you guys up in the booth. Appreciate everything y'all do.
Congratulations there, Bobby. And Brandon, this was really quite the race that had its ups and downs, but towards the end it was starting to get really competitive up towards the front, and we didn't really know who was going to win. Just like Bobby Terrell said, with those green flag runs, the strategies were starting to come to fruition for some of these guys, and I'll tell you, it would have been really interesting to see what would happen if it went green all the way, but it was definitely way more interesting, I think, when we came down to the one lap green flag run with the white flag out as well.
Definitely, and like we said, probably at least like 100 times during all the green flag pit stops and changing lanes, there's probably at least a good 20 lead changes in this race of the whole thing, so a lot of guys were able to be in the front, and at least a dozen, if not more, drivers had a chance to win that race at the end. Just a bad break on that last caution put in a one-lap shootout, and my gosh, was that suspense like absolutely enormous. That was huge. It was all down to a restart and the minutes of driving and the basic fundamentals, and that's what it came down with. And Justin Michael just happened to do it a lot better than the field in that scenario and was able to do everything right and get the win there.
Right you are. Well, as we start to wrap up, we do want to make sure that everyone at home does check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and on all the other social media outlets out there. And this next week's schedule is going to be on Monday, Friday, and Saturday. So RSR is on Monday here at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and then Super Speedway Cup is going to start at 9 p.m. Eastern. And then, as always, you'll see us here at 10 p.m. Eastern. Here next week, we'll be at the Glen. It looks like if there's any other scheduled change, just check out the United Sim Racing webpage and to check out the scheduled change. But from all of us here at LSRTV, myself, Austin Coop, joined alongside Brandon Monsivice, and Cisco Starmuza was definitely doing a good job showing all the action out there tonight. And from all of us here at LSR TV, we bid you good night here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.